She didn't run from the monster, she invited it in. A woman haunted since childhood realizes the horror stalking her isn't just outside her window, it lives inside her dreams. A woman haunted since childhood realizes the horror stalking her isn't just outside her window, it lives inside her dreams. As a plague spreads and families are erased overnight, the town searches for a way to stop an ancient evil that cannot be killed by weapons. The truth is far worse, the monster can only be destroyed by someone who willingly gives everything. While others hunt in the dark, she prepares for something far more terrifying, a final choice. In the beginning of the movie we see a young woman named Ellen, alone and desperate, whispering into the darkness as she begs for someone, anyone, to answer her loneliness. Her plea does not go unanswered. A deep, unnatural voice responds, claiming she has disturbed a presence that has slept beyond time itself. The figure remains unseen, revealed only as a shadowy outline formed by curtains drifting in the night air. It asks Ellen a single question: will she give herself to him? Overwhelmed, she agrees. Almost immediately, her body stiffens, as if seized by a force she does not understand. Germany, 1838. Years later, Ellen is now married to Thomas Hutter, a young real estate agent, and the two live together in the quiet town of Wisberg. Their marriage is loving and devoted, though Ellen remains fragile, carrying the weight of emotions she cannot explain. Thomas accepts a new position working for his eccentric employer, Herr Knock, who assigns him an unusual task: to finalize the sale of a distant, decaying castle owned by the reclusive Count Orlik. When Thomas excitedly tells Ellen about the journey, her reaction is immediate and fearful. She confesses that on the night of their wedding, she dreamed of death itself standing beside her as a bridegroom. In the dream, every guest had perished, yet disturbingly, Ellen admits she felt a sense of peace and happiness unlike anything she had known. Despite her unease, Thomas prepares to leave. Ellen is placed in the care of their close friends, Friedrich and Anna Harding, who live with their two young daughters, Clara and Louise. Anna is also expecting another child, and the household becomes Ellen's refuge as Thomas sets out toward a fate neither of them fully understands. Thomas continues his journey and stops for the night in a remote village in Bohemia. When the locals discover that his business involves Count Orlik, their attitude immediately changes. Fear spreads across their faces, and they try to turn him away. Only after Thomas offers to pay extra do they reluctantly allow him to stay. That night, Thomas secretly witnesses something horrifying. Villagers move into the forest carrying torches, leading a naked woman toward a stone coffin buried in the ground. Inside lies a monstrous figure. Without hesitation, they drive a stake into the creature, performing what appears to be a desperate ritual meant to stop an ancient evil. Shaken but determined, Thomas presses on alone. Deep in the woods, a silent carriage appears out of the darkness, as if summoned. It carries him high into the mountains, delivering him to Orlok's isolated castle. Inside, Thomas finally meets Count Orlik, a figure who avoids the light and moves like a living shadow. Orlik demands to be addressed as my lord and calmly reviews the documents for the castle sale. During the meeting, Thomas accidentally cuts his thumb. Orlik reacts instantly, drawn to the blood, and feeds from the wound with disturbing hunger. Orlik then notices a locket Thomas carries, inside is Ellen's portrait. He immediately recognizes her as the woman who once bound herself to him long ago. Weak from blood loss, Thomas is denied permission to leave. While unconscious, Orlik feeds on him again, draining his strength. When Thomas awakens, he discovers Orlik lying inside a stone coffin, confirming the terrible truth: the Count is a vampire. In desperation, Thomas tries to kill him with a pickaxe, but Orlik awakens and unleashes his hounds. Cornered, Thomas climbs out a castle window and leaps into the river below, barely escaping with his life. Back in Wisberg, Ellen begins suffering violent seizures once more. Her condition worsens as she senses Thomas's absence. Confined to bed, she is examined by Dr. Wilhelm Sievers, who treats her using modern medical methods, believing her illness is caused by a dangerous imbalance in her blood. Meanwhile, Thomas is rescued and brought to a nearby church to recover. But the moment he regains his strength, he leaves, driven by the terrifying realization that Orlik is no longer after land or shelter. He is after Ellen. Concerned that Ellen's condition goes beyond normal illness, Sievers seeks help from his former mentor, Alban Eberhard von Franz, a scholar known for his deep knowledge of ancient myths and the occult. Together, they visit Herr Nock, who has been locked away due to his violent madness. Inside his cell, Nock is surrounded by dead, headless pigeons. He suddenly bites into another bird and declares that his master is coming. After observing Nock's behavior, von Franz reaches a disturbing conclusion: Ellen is being mentally influenced by a powerful entity. He identifies this force as Nosferatu, another name for Count Orlik. Friedrich refuses to believe such supernatural claims, insisting there must be a rational explanation. Von Franz later meets Ellen privately. She confesses that Orlik has followed her since childhood, invading her thoughts and dreams for years. She feels as though her mind is no longer fully her own and asks a haunting question: whether evil is born within people, or if it comes from something outside them. Meanwhile, Orlik secretly travels toward Wisberg by hiding inside wooden crates filled with soil from his homeland. The ship also carries rats infected with disease. During the voyage, Orlik awakens and brutally kills the crew one by one, leaving the vessel unmanned until it crashes into the harbor. Thomas, wounded but determined, finally returns home, desperate to reach Ellen. But Orlik uses his control over her to speak through her body, mocking Thomas and breaking his spirit. Soon after, Orlik arrives in Wisberg and is guided to his new home by the escaped Nock, who serves him with fanatical devotion. Orlik reveals that his plan depends on Ellen choosing him willingly. If she does not freely bind herself to him again, his power will not be complete. That night, Orlik appears to Ellen in a dream while she sleeps beside Anna. This time, Ellen sees him clearly as the monster he truly is and refuses his offer. Orlik gives her a cruel ultimatum: 3 nights to leave Thomas and pledge herself to him, or he will slaughter everyone she loves and doom the entire town. When Ellen awakens, she finds Anna collapsed on the floor as rats swarm the room. Across Wisberg, the plague begins to spread, marking the true beginning of Orlok's reign of terror. Orlik continues invading Ellen's thoughts, trying to turn her against Thomas. Instead of breaking, Ellen resists him in her own way, choosing closeness with her husband as an act of defiance, proving that Orlik no longer controls her heart. That same night, tragedy strikes Friedrich's home. Drawn by screams, Anna discovers Orlik feeding on her daughters. The Count then turns on her, killing Anna and the child she carried. Overwhelmed by grief and despair, Friedrich later visits Anna's tomb. In his madness, he exposes himself to the plague and willingly succumbs to it. Von Franz and Dr. Sievers discover their bodies and destroy them to prevent the disease from spreading. Ellen and von Franz finally understand the truth: Orlik cannot be destroyed by force. The only way to end him is through a willing sacrifice. Ellen must be the one to draw him in and hold him until dawn. To buy time, von Franz sends Thomas and Sievers on a false hunt for Orlik. They break into his manor and open the sarcophagus, expecting to find the vampire, but instead discover Herr Nock inside. Dying, Nock realizes he was never meant to be rewarded. Orlik only ever desired Ellen. Von Franz burns the estate as Thomas rushes back to his wife. That night, Orlik comes to Ellen. She willingly allows him close, knowing exactly what she is doing. As he feeds on her, the night slowly passes. When dawn arrives, Orlik realizes the trap too late. Sunlight destroys him, reducing the ancient monster to ash. Ellen, having given everything, dies shortly after. Thomas arrives just in time to hold Ellen as she slips away. Broken, he mourns her sacrifice. Von Franz concludes that Ellen's choice saved Wisberg. The plague ends. The curse is lifted. And through her courage, the world is spared from the darkness of Nosferatu. Thank you for watching. If you like our work, please like, share and subscribe our channel.